So, guys, Donald Trump just won the election, and this is, of course, impacting NIO stock in a not so great way. Tesla stock has been significantly boosted thanks to this election win. But first, let's cover some very good news. First of all, NIO is fighting back against DCAR. Of course, I recently reported how in China, DCAR did a test of many vehicles, crash tested them, and they gave NIO's ET5T a poor performance score because of the A pillar not holding up and the door handles not popping out and that kind of stuff. So NIO is fighting back, re-emphasizing its number one safety ranking with 5-star Euro NCAP and explaining all the functions and features of the car and making sure that people understand what this car is all about and how this car is extremely safe. So this is very good. They have this very long post explaining everything, and I think they've done a very good job of explaining everything. And this is definitely the punchback that we needed, all right? Because, ET5T, these are the main sellers for NIO along with the ES6 and EC6. So it's very important that NIO explains and reassures customers about the safety of this car. Now, on some separate news, over in Europe, NIO has begun offering super low interest. All right, not exactly 0% interest, but like 0.99% interest. So you can see for the ET7, you can get that for 479 euros per month, basically. And its effective interest rate is 0.99%. Of course, you have a down payment of 16,850 euros and then a final payment of 23,590 euros. So very nice. Basically, it's a very low interest offer that people can get this car. And then the ET5, you can get it for as low as 361 euros per month. Basically, that's your monthly payment. All right. That's a monthly payment of the base payment plus interest, and the interest is 0.99%. So clearly, they're trying to emphasize the affordability of these cars, and telling you that you can get this car for very cheap in the Netherlands. So this is, of course, in the Netherlands. All right, very nice. And thank you to my subscribers for sending this to us. And of course, now let's jump into NIO stock. What's going on with NIO stock right now? And of course, none of this is financial advice. In the past, I've highlighted this potential head and shoulders pattern, all right here. And here's the left shoulder, the head. This green line is the neckline, and this is the right shoulder. And the fact that, we're kind of popping below this or teetering below this kind of scares me a little bit. Not in the sense that I'm like scared. I'm more like worried that if this doesn't hold up, we could potentially go down much further. Now, what does the Trump election win mean for NIO? Because NIO doesn't even sell cars in the US. Of course, NIO is listed in the US, but how does it really impact NIO? Well, you got to think of the fact that Trump is very anti-China. He has always emphasized China, and he plans to put tariffs on everything imported. So that means the prospect of NIO selling vehicles in Europe, in Europe, they already have tariffs, but in the US is pretty much almost nil, almost zero. All right, very low probability of cars being sold there. But I think he's a very pragmatic person. So it is very possible, like in the past, he's met up with Jack Ma and praised him and talked about how great of an entrepreneur he is. It's very possible that he could meet up with William Li, and William Li promised to build a factory in Detroit, Michigan, and then promise jobs. And I'm sure Trump will welcome them with open arms. Now, of course, on the topic of expansion, for NIO, expanding into the U.S. would mean much greater cost than expanding for any other automobile company, because of the fact that when you expand there, you have to build a factory pretty much. That's guaranteed with the Trump election. And then you also have to build a swap station factory to build swap stations. And then you also have to get your whole entire service infrastructure over there, your whole entire NIO house experience, everything over there. You have to have your own service team. It has to be like, it has to encompass the whole entire country. And the US is a very big country, so it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of effort, and that just doesn't seem very reasonable for now. And also you have to think of the fact that, of Envoy cars and Firefight cars, are they going to have their own separate stores there? So right now, it makes sense that they're just focusing on the UAE, the Middle East for now. The US, if you live in the US and you want to buy a NIO, well, I think your only chance is to move to China and to buy one there, or move to UAE or move to Europe and get one there. But it seems the likelihood of expanding into the US is very, very low. It's very, very expensive to expand into the US and build factories there and everything. That's going to cost them a lot of money. So US expansion is pretty much off the table. But Trump being Trump, could he do something to NIO stock or Chinese stocks or Chinese listed stocks in general? It could be very possible, but that's definitely a risk there, and you've seen that reflect on the share price. Stock prices are sort of going down. People are a little bit worried that maybe he's gonna do something, maybe like delist or do something nasty like that to Chinese companies. So there is definitely, some uncertainty towards that. But, I think he's a very pragmatic person. And the fact that, if William Li really wants to expand into the U.S., they could possibly totally expand into the U.S. with the promise of jobs and factories there. And that's going to really work out. And I think Donald Trump will respect that. He respects American jobs. And if you're going to give that to him, then he's definitely going to, welcome you with open arms, right? But for what it stands right now, we have this big head and shoulders pattern, and it looks like we're kind of teetering below it, but we're kind of coming back right now, 5. So this is definitely a level to watch, 4.97-ish, $5-ish. If we go below that and we don't recoup it and get above it, then we could possibly be in line for more downside, which is definitely what we don't want to see. Okay, we don't want to see NIO stock go down. And just remember, NIO is profitable. Well, not exactly profitable, but they said they're earning some profit. The CEO said they're earning some profit from selling cars. Of course, the R&D aspect is going to make sure that they're not profitable, but things are looking good in terms of earnings going forward. They're selling more cars, and they're getting higher margins, all right? And they're all doing a lot of good things to boost up their earnings. So those are all things that I'm really happy to see. And whether or not this Trump election is going to have a sort of a boost downwards for the stock price, we'll have to see. Hopefully we don't get that at all. But in general, I think the future is still very good for NIO stock, for NIO in general. So look out. I'm still invested. Bullish NIO, guys. Bullish NIO. Long term, super long term, $650 a share. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.